Okay, my recording time timed out, so I'm here to finish this video up. And like I was saying, when the so-called white man came over here to the Americas, all right, did he come in the name of peace? Okay, love, happiness? No, he came over here. He raped, he robbed, and he murdered. That's in the history. Okay, we don't need to go into that because everybody knows, except for maybe a few simple people here in America, or maybe the younger generations here in America don't know, especially amongst the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, what the atrocities that the so-called white man Esau committed. Okay, that he came over here, raped and robbed and murdered our people. Okay, and not only did he do it to the so-called Native American Indians, he did it onto the so-called Latin tribes. Okay, the Cubans, Colombians, the so-called Mexicans. All right, and so on, and also of course to the so-called Negroes. All right. Now, let's see. All right, so what I want to do is I'm on a National Geographic, and I'm going to try to make this quick so this video don't time out on me. All right? I'm on National Geographic online, and the website is nationalgeographic.org. And I'm just going to read, what did I type in? A history of slavery in the United States. And what they did was they gave a capsulated summary of slavery here in America. God dang it. All right. Okay, this computer's acting up. All right, so let me read this. And when was this? Trying to check the date on it, but seemed all right. So anyway, you can go on if you want to look at this. You can, but this is what it says. Slavery is what became the United States. Slavery in what became the United States probably began with the arrival of 20-odd enslaved Africans to the British colony of Virginia in 1619. Now, if you go into the history, slaves were being brought from Spain and Africa before 1620, but the bulk of the so-called Negroes, came over here from the west coast of Africa in 1619. Okay, it says, which is the what do we read about the Puritans, which were Protestants, and they spun off into Calvinist and also Presbyterian, right? So you had these different factions of Edomites under the banner of Christianity. They labeled themselves Protestants, Presbyterians, Calvinists, right? And we read that was in the 16th century, which is the 1500s, and the 17th century, which is the 1600s. So we see right here in the 1600s is where slavery began. And this is basic information. Okay, the slavery began, we're just using the year 1619. So these Puritans were over here during this time period. They were the ones bringing the slaves over here, right? With Jewish sponsorship. Those ships were supplied by so-called Jews, Edomites, calling themselves Jews. Now let me finish reading this. It says, it officially ended with the ratification of the 13th Amendment in 1865, which really what they call the Proclamation of Emancipation. It did not really free us. It really was just a deception. Okay, but I want to bring that out to just line up the time periods. Okay, when we know these things, I'm just putting it out there in the forefront so nobody can say, okay, that the so-called white man did not rape, rob, and murder in the name of Christianity. They came over here representing Christianity. Okay? Now I'm going to get some scriptures here in just a second. Now I'm on history.com on the internet, and I clicked on a link called "The Most Damaging Myths About Slavery Debunked." Okay, now I'm gonna jump to the third paragraph. I'm gonna try to read through this as quick as I can. It says, such controversies underscore a profound lack of understanding of slavery, because they bring out, and I'm not going to read it, the statement Kanye West made about he believes slavery was a choice, and that this information is supposed to debunk that slavery was not a choice. So I'm reading here in this third paragraph. It says, such controversies underscore a profound lack of understanding of slavery, the institution that more than others in the formation of American Republic undergirded its very economic, social, and political fabric. They overlooked that slavery, which affected millions of blacks, which are really Israelites, in America, was enforced by a system of sustained brutality, including acts and constant threats and it wasn't just threats, it actually happened. Threats of torture, rape, and murder. And it went way beyond threats. It happened. Rape, robbery, and murder and torture happened. They ignored countless historic examples of resistance, rebellion, and escape, and they disregarded the long-tail legacy of slavery, which were oppressive laws, incarceration, and violent acts of terrorism. See, we read right here on this history.com, and the title of this, what I'm reading, is called "The Most Damaging Myths About Slavery Debunked." It said that they committed acts of terrorism, were all designed to keep people of color in their place. So we know the demonization is coming. It's going to heighten, okay, which is going to be slander, lies, okay, propaganda against the Hebrew Israelites, because we don't teach for nobody to go out there and kill, murder, okay? We don't advocate that. All we do is teach the scriptures, all right? Anybody that's doing that is not really affiliated with us, because that's not what we teach. Now, the so-called white man, you can't deny the fact that your people, you so-called Christians, all right, that are dealing in Christianity, you can't deny the fact that your people came over here in the name of Christianity, raped, robbed, and murdered. Okay? Now, let's get some scriptures and close this lesson out. And really what I might do is just quote scriptures. You know, we're supposed to have the word in our mind, right? Now, the scriptures tell us in Deuteronomy, and I'm doing this for the sake of time. And let me see where I'm at. So it's probably from this video is probably about to time out again, so I'll probably have to do a part 3 to this. But we read in Deuteronomy 28, we're around the 47th verse. You can go and read it for yourself. That we were going to, go to this man. Matter of fact, let me shut it. Let me just read it. See if I'm right about the verse. I want to make sure I'm on point about the